Major Social Security changes unfolding in 2025. Here's what you need to know. Big developments are happening with Social Security right now in 2025, and I'm here to bring you up to speed on the latest updates. Over the past week or so, significant revelations have emerged, and some surprising changes are on the horizon. I'll be breaking down everything that's happening, as there's a lot going on with Social Security. If you receive retirement benefits, SSI, SSDI, or any other fixed income payments from the Social Security Administration, this directly affects you. Let's dive into the latest headlines. Elon Musk sounds the alarm on Social Security. A major warning from Elon Musk about Social Security surfaced on the 13th. While I've already provided some updates, we're going to take a deeper look at what he's saying. Musk claims that federal retirement processing is still done manually in an old mine, a statement that initially sounded like a metaphor, but turns out to be literal. I'll show you video footage so you can see it for yourself. When Musk spoke about this, he emphasized that the same outdated procedures from 50 to 60 years ago are still in use today. His reaction? Complete disbelief. Elon Musk's claims about 150-year-old Social Security recipients. We also saw Musk at the White House, making another eye-opening claim. He stated that there are 150-year-old individuals still filing taxes and collecting Social Security checks. After his statement, several media outlets published articles pushing back against his claim. One headline reads, Musk baselessly claims that 150-year-olds are collecting Social Security in a bizarre rant. Clearly, different sources are framing this claim in different ways. But as always on this channel, I cite all sources, display them on screen, and analyze the facts. And here's the truth. This isn't baseless. The truth about Social Security fraud. A government report from 2015 revealed that Social Security numbers were still active for 6.5 million people over the age of 112. Let that sink in. And despite this report coming out a decade ago, nothing has been done. For over 10 years, taxpayers' money has been wasted on fraudulent Social Security payments, totaling billions upon billions of dollars. Experts are now saying that the level of fraud within the Social Security Administration is unprecedented in U.S. history. Major Social Security reforms are coming. If you support these efforts to uncover the truth, drop a 47 in the comments to back Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Despite certain media networks like, say, MSNBC, calling these claims baseless, the reality is different. The data backs it up. Republicans push Trump to fast-track Social Security payments. Republican leaders are urging Trump's administration to speed up Social Security payments under the Social Security Fairness Act. This bill was passed to address back payments owed to many recipients, some of whom have been waiting for over a year. Now, there's increasing pressure to get those checks issued immediately. Trump and Republican officials are pushing to ensure that those affected receive their rightful payments, including retroactive compensation. Will the Republican budget cut Social Security? There's been ongoing debate about whether the Republican budget includes Social Security cuts. The Congressional Budget Office, CBO, has released its analysis, and the numbers are now available for review. We'll break down what this means for your benefits and whether these concerns are justified. Stay tuned for a deep dive into the facts. We're going to be doing a comparison. And over the past 24 hours, there's been growing concern following the release of this budget, particularly regarding Medicaid. A fact check. Does the Republican budget propose cutting Medicaid by $880 billion? That's what we're hearing, along with concerns about Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And as you know, we've heard directly from Donald Trump that these programs will not be touched. Your checks will not be reduced. However, officials are pointing to massive fraud occurring within these programs, amounting to billions upon billions of dollars. Their goal is to investigate the administration, identify those responsible for fraudulent activity, and ensure that federal funds are being properly managed. These funds are meant for retirees, SSI recipients, individuals with disabilities, and those who rely on these benefits. If you support that effort, drop a yes in the comments and don't forget to hit that like button. Now, let me get you caught up on the latest updates. I see comments coming in. Moon P says, "Good afternoon, Steve." Good afternoon to you, Moon P. Warrior Class says, "I want my check." Denise is putting 47. Ong says, "Medicare is a major ripoff." Susie comments, "Good news." Well, I'm glad to see many of you are happy to hear this update. There's a lot happening right now regarding Social Security, bringing it to the forefront. This marks roughly the third, maybe even the fourth, week of Donald Trump's administration, and a lot is unfolding. Social Security is now becoming a key focus, and this is just the beginning. What's happening now in these first few weeks is centered on Social Security, with major changes expected to roll out soon. Davis asks, "Steve, why do you call him Donald Trump instead of President Trump?" My apologies, Davis, no offense intended. It's just a habit. But whether I say Donald Trump or President Trump doesn't make a difference to me. He is the President of the United States, and I completely support that. In fact, I'm happy to see him taking action and pushing for big changes that benefit the people. All right, let's dive in. I see a lot of people commenting 47, dropping yes, and even adding laughing emojis. Let me bring you the latest updates. Before we get started, as I mentioned earlier, hit that like button. As always, all sources will be linked in the description below. I'll pull them up on screen, read directly from them, and do my best to maintain the highest level of accountability to my audience. That way, you can be confident that this is the most up-to-date information. See the sources for yourself, and know exactly what's happening. Make no mistake, major changes are coming in 2025, and what you're about to see will confirm that. First, let me show you some shocking video footage, and then we'll dive into the articles because this is truly wild. Oh, and if this is your first time here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated. It's completely free. You'll also find additional resources in the description below, along with the linked articles. And again, if you appreciate this content, hitting the like button helps spread the word across YouTube and really supports the channel. I truly appreciate it. Now, let's start by taking a look at this footage. You need to see it for yourself. First, we'll check out what Elon Musk had to say. What's interesting is that in this short 2.5-minute clip from the Oval Office, he talks about the Social Security retirement process, mentioning that they can only process around 10,000 individuals per month. He attributes this to an outdated system. He calls it a mine shaft process, where applications go into a manual system with an elevator, slowing everything. When I first heard him say this, I assumed he was using a metaphor. But no, he was dead serious. We've got actual video footage of the mine, and this is real. This outdated, inefficient system is still in use today. The big question being asked is, why hasn't this been digitized? Why aren't we using modern technology to streamline the process? Elon Musk has been very vocal about the need for major changes because the current system is causing massive delays in retirement processing and payments. If you agree, drop a yes in the comments. But don't just take my word for it. Let's check out this footage so you can see it for yourself. Elon Musk's shocking revelation in the Oval Office. Now let's switch over to the video and hear what Elon Musk had to say during his discussion in the Oval Office. He pointed out something completely outrageous. He claimed that there are 150-year-old individuals still registered in the Social Security system, filing taxes and receiving checks. Do you know anyone who's 150 years old? Yeah, me neither. If these people really exist, they should be in the Guinness Book of World Records. Musk went on to say that, realistically, these individuals are probably deceased, or they should be famous if they're still alive. But that's not all. He also raised concerns about Social Security payments that have no identifiable recipient. Why is there no proper verification? His argument is simple. Social Security benefits should go to the people who truly need them, and they should receive their payments quickly and accurately. An outdated system that slows everything down. Here's another mind-blowing detail Musk shared. The federal bureaucracy is so bloated that they were told no more than 10,000 people can retire in a single month. When asked why, the response was even crazier, because all the retirement paperwork is processed manually on paper. Yes, you read that right. Each form is physically calculated and written down, then stored in an underground limestone mine. That's not an exaggeration. There's actual footage of this facility, and it looks like something straight out of the 1950s. Musk described how this old-fashioned system operates. Retirement applications are physically stored in a limestone mine. The speed of the mine shaft elevator determines how many people can retire each month. If the elevator breaks down, no one can retire. Does that sound insane? Because it is. There are about 1,000 people working in this system, manually carrying files in and out of the mine shaft. Musk's argument is that these workers could be doing literally anything else that adds more value to the country. Decades of fraud and government waste. Musk also pointed out that fraud in the Social Security system is completely out of control. He stated that people over 150 years old are still collecting checks. And when he first said this, I thought he was joking. But then I looked into it, and guess what? It's true. A government report from 2015 revealed that 6.5 million people over the age of 112 were still listed as active Social Security recipients. That was 10 years ago, and nothing has been done about it. For over a decade, billions of dollars in taxpayer money have been wasted. And yet, despite these findings, no meaningful action has been taken. Exposing the Social Security storage facility, Iron Mountain Mine. At first, I thought Musk was using an analogy to describe how outdated the system was. But no, this is an actual underground mine where Social Security paperwork is stored. It's called Iron Mountain Mine, and it's located in Boyers, Pennsylvania. Here's how Musk described it. A limestone mine where we store all the retirement paperwork. It looks like something from the 1950s because it was built in 1955. It's like a time warp. The mine shaft elevator speed limits how many people can retire, and when the elevator breaks, no one can retire. Unbelievable, right? And here's the kicker. Some employees from the Office of Personnel Management anonymously reported that they don't even have an elevator. The images of this facility are stunning. Millions of paper files stacked inside limestone columns, 230 feet underground. Each month, only 10,000 applications are manually sorted by hand. Let me repeat that. In 2025, the world's most powerful country is still processing retirements by hand in an underground cave. Corporate America uses storage caves, but this is different. Jason Chin, a guest on the discussion panel, pointed out that corporations also use underground storage facilities. However, the difference is that those systems are automated. The U.S. government, on the other hand, is still using an outdated manual process. Musk was 110% right. We could implement almost any modern system, and it would be more efficient than this. And get this, the U.S. military still processes rank advancements and pay raises using punch cards. Yes, punch cards. They have to keep 80-year-old employees on staff because no one else knows how to run these outdated systems. Final thoughts. What do you think? So, now that you know how Social Security is actually being handled, I have a question for you. Did you already know this was happening? If so, drop a 2 in the comments. Were you just as shocked as I was? If so, drop a 1 that I had no idea this was going on. But after seeing the footage and reading the reports, it's absolutely incredible that we're still operating like this in 2025, that if you think this system needs an overhaul, hit that like button, and let's take a look at the footage so you can see it for yourself. Some of the workers handling these outdated government processes have expressed frustration, with reports from the Washington Post revealing that many feel depressed due to their working conditions, especially the fact that they have no windows. And honestly, who could blame them? I'd feel the same way. They even order pizza down to the mine, which is both fascinating and concerning. But here's what the Washington Post discovered. The Social Security processing system inside the mine is running just as slowly today as it did in 1977. Over the past 30 years, multiple administrations have poured over $100 million into trying to modernize and digitize the system without success. And if there's one person who might actually be able to fix this, it's probably the guy who sends rockets into space with SpaceX. Lack of justification for keeping an outdated system. What's telling is that no one in government is defending this system based on its merits. You don't hear bureaucrats or politicians saying, keeping all of our retirement paperwork stored 230 feet underground is necessary for security reasons. Spending $50 million on government-funded shipments makes sense because of these specific benefits. Instead, their only argument is that Elon Musk trying to fix this is somehow a bad thing. That's not a solid argument, because if no one can justify why the system should remain the way it is, then why not modernize it? Why shouldn't Elon Musk step in and make this more efficient, especially for American taxpayers? A government still using floppy disks in 2025. On the subject of outdated technology, Jason Chait flags something shocking. The Department of Defense is still using 8-inch floppy disks. To put that into perspective, it would take 3.2 million floppy disks to store the same amount of data as a single modern flash drive. You can walk into Best Buy right now and get a flash drive, but the U.S. government is still relying on technology that's decades obsolete. And here's another stunning detail. When I visited an AWACS surveillance aircraft in 2010, they were excited because they were just now installing Windows 95. Think about that. In 2010, they were still upgrading to an operating system from 1995. Retirement processing. Slow, inefficient, and cruel. Now, let's go back to the issue of Social Security. Two things stand out. One, a sea of retirees have been waiting for their benefits to be processed. The system is so slow that only 10,000 retirements can be processed each year. In some years, the total has been as low as 7,000. Two, this isn't just inefficient, it's cruel. Imagine dedicating your life to working for the federal government, reaching retirement age, and then being forced to wait indefinitely because the system is so outdated. At the very least, people deserve a timely and reliable process. And yet, instead of addressing why these processes take so long, bureaucrats nitpick over terminology. Some argue, it's not an elevator, it's a pulley system. It's not a basement, it's an underground storage facility. But the real question is, why is our federal retirement system being stored in a mine at all? $100 million spent, no results, the real problem. The government has spent over $100 million trying to automate this system, yet they haven't succeeded. Why? It's not due to a lack of funding. It's not because the system is too complex to modernize. The real problem? A lack of leadership, innovation, and accountability. Think about it. Medical records have been digitized. Law firms have switched to digital documentation. Most industries now require employees to log into secure portals. So, why not the federal government? Is this security or just inefficiency? Some officials argue that using underground mines to store documents helps protect data privacy. But let's be honest, security breaches still happen. For example, 92 million Americans had their data compromised in the OPM, Office of Personnel Management hack. So if the government couldn't protect digital records then, why assume an underground mine is any safer? And let's not forget, this isn't classified CIA intelligence we're talking about. This is paperwork that should have been automated years ago, focusing on the real issue, not the messenger. Instead of addressing the massive inefficiencies and fraud in Social Security, critics are focusing on the people trying to fix the system. The outrage shouldn't be about Elon Musk calling attention to the problem. The outrage should be about why this issue has existed for decades with no action taken. If we actually care about the security of federal employees, the well-being of our veterans and war fighters, the efficiency of taxpayer-funded systems. Then we need to catch up with the times. Decades of unnecessary paperwork. Here's another absurdity. The IRS requires taxpayers to keep records for 7 years. Yet the Social Security system stores documents for decades. Why? What exactly are they holding on to that requires storage for so long? Yes, having paper records as a backup is reasonable. But in today's world, a backup shouldn't be the primary system. Elon Musk's warning. The reality of Social Security fraud. Elon Musk has been vocal about rampant Social Security fraud. He pointed out that there are people registered as receiving benefits at 150 years old. Some critics dismissed this as baseless. But guess what? It's true. Reports confirm that as of 10 years ago, 6.5 million people over 112 years old were still registered in the Social Security system. And nothing has changed. This isn't speculation. It's a documented reality. A $100 billion fraud crisis. And it's not just about outdated paperwork. Musk has also revealed over $100 billion per year is being paid out to people with no valid Social Security number. Some don't even have a temporary ID number. According to the Social Security Administration's own website, you need an SSN to work, collect benefits, receive government assistance. If Musk's findings are accurate, and we have reason to believe they are, this is one of the largest financial fraud cases in U.S. history. The U.S. government's own admission, half of this is fraud. When Musk asked the U.S. Treasury for an estimate of how much of this money was blatant fraud, their response was shocking. Officials estimated that at least 50% of these payments were obviously fraudulent. That means $50 billion per year, $1 billion per week, is being wasted on fraud in Social Security alone. Final thoughts. What do you think? Now that you know what's really happening, were you aware of this issue? Drop a 2 if you knew. Are you just as shocked as I was? Drop a 1 if this blew your mind. One thing is clear, big changes are coming. And based on what we're seeing, they can't come soon enough. This situation is absolutely outrageous and needs to be dealt with immediately. As I mentioned earlier, this could be a game changer for Social Security recipients. We're facing a financial crisis, with funds projected to run dry in 8 to 12 years. Now, imagine if we expose this fraud, recover the wasted money, and redirect it to the people who actually deserve it. This could lead to a major boost in Social Security payouts. Elon Musk also pointed out in a separate post that the Social Security database isn't duplicated, meaning that the same Social Security number can exist multiple times. This massive loophole only makes fraud easier. According to Newsweek, the Social Security Administration has been contacted for a response regarding these claims, but as of now, there has been no comment. Musk's Social Security involvement sparks backlash. Elon Musk's recent involvement with Social Security has been met with significant criticism, particularly from Democratic lawmakers and Social Security advocacy groups. Following a February 6th report, several members of Congress, SSA beneficiaries, and advocacy organizations staged protests outside the Social Security Administration, SSA, office in Washington, D.C. Max Rickman, President and CEO of the National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare, spoke to Newsweek, stating, "Social Security beneficiaries and their families have every reason to be alarmed by Elon Musk's involvement in the U.S. Treasury's payment system, which oversees Social Security payments. Seniors, their families, and individuals with disabilities cannot trust Donald Trump and Elon Musk with their federal benefits or personal data. We hope the courts will put a stop to this blatant attempt to take control of the Treasury's payment system for political gain." What do you think? Now that you've seen what's happening, I want to hear from you. Do you trust Donald Trump and Elon Musk to manage Social Security and clean up the fraud? If yes, drop a yes in the comments. If you think they're doing this for personal gain, comment a no. There are claims that Trump and Musk are only in it for themselves, but let's be real. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. His net worth is currently estimated at $440 billion, fluctuating based on stock performance. The only person close to him is Jeff Bezos. To put this into perspective, becoming a billionaire means having $1,000 million. Musk has done that 440 times. So, to say that he is stealing from Social Security sounds like a wild conspiracy theory to me. But that's just my opinion. What do you think? Musk exposes a broken system. Regardless of the motivation behind his involvement, it's clear that Musk is pointing out serious flaws in the Social Security system. As we've already discussed, the mine shaft storage system is real. This is where federal retirement applications are still being processed manually. Musk has also called out the mind-boggling fact that there are individuals listed as being 150 years old still collecting Social Security. According to a report from Fox 5, Musk made this claim publicly, criticizing the government's wasteful spending. Trump, Musk, and the fight against wasteful spending. Musk, who has been given broad authority by President Trump through the Department of Government Efficiency (DOGE), addressed these concerns at a press conference on Tuesday. During the event, Musk emphasized the importance of fiscal responsibility, stating, "If taxpayer dollars are being wasted, that's not okay. Every dollar must be spent wisely on programs that actually benefit the people." As I continue to see yes comments rolling in, it's clear that many support Trump and Musk's efforts to reform Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And let me be clear, these are not entitlement programs in the way some media outlets describe them. People have paid into these programs their entire lives through taxation. This is earned income, not a handout. Common sense fiscal oversight. Musk continued, "This isn't some radical idea, it's just common sense. Every expense should be examined to determine whether it truly serves the people. If it does, we keep it. If it doesn't, we need to rethink it." Musk also reiterated his claim that there are Social Security recipients listed as being 150 years old. Do you know anyone who is 150 years old? I don't. If they're still alive, they should be in the Guinness Book of World Records. But the reality is, they're probably not alive, which means fraud is happening. The evidence is clear. Fraud is happening. Some media outlets are calling Musk's statements baseless. But let's go back to the actual data. A government report from 10 years ago confirmed that 6.5 million Social Security numbers were still active for people over the age of 112. The likelihood that 6.5 million people in the U.S. are actually over 112 years old is basically zero. Even a decade ago, reports highlighted massive fraud in Social Security. And yet, nothing was done. Final thoughts. What's next for Social Security? So here's where we stand. Social Security is running out of money. Tens of billions of dollars are being wasted. Millions of outdated records remain active, creating opportunities for fraud. And now, Trump and Musk are trying to fix the system. But critics argue they're only doing it for their own gain. So, what do you think? Is this a much-needed reform, or is it a power grab? Should Social Security funds be handled more carefully? Drop your thoughts in the comments. One thing is clear, big changes are coming. And based on what we're seeing, they can't come soon enough.